everybody, welcome back to My Big Sister Podcast. My name is Grace and this is my big sister Josie.
Hello, and in today's episode we're going to be talking about the catch-up friend phenomenon and whether you should be allowed to cancel on your friends and with how much notice.
Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I came up with the idea for this week's episode because I saw Grace Beverly on TikTok talk about this whole thing about a catch-up friend, and ever since I saw her video, I've been getting so many videos about it, and it kind of blew my mind. So we're going to talk about it. We're also just going to talk about friendship issues in general because we asked for some questions for you guys. But yeah, I feel like, Josie, you have never seen the TikTok discourse that I talk about, so let me explain this to you. Basically, they were talking about how when you are in your 20s and like once you leave school or uni and like you become an adult, pretty much most people only see their friends as a catch-up friend, or like some of your friends will be like catch-up friends, where basically the only time you see these friends is when you might go for dinner or drinks, whether it's once a week or once a month or once every few months, and you basically just tell them what you were doing in your life, and they're no longer the people that you're making those memories with that are in your stories. They're basically just hearing about your life, and it's basically this thing of like you kind of stopped. Your friends have stopped being the people that you make memories with and like do things day to day with. They just become people that you tell about your life, and like you're just catching up with them every so often. And it's kind of sad because I feel like when you're in school and uni, it's much more likely that your friends are those people you're making the memories with. And maybe if you have like lots of friends that you see every day, this doesn't apply to you. But I feel like this definitely happened to me. I feel like once I left uni, it's now become a thing of like, I only really ever see my friends for catch-ups, and ever since I've seen this video, I have now been like, okay, no, I need to start actually making plans with my friends that aren't just catch-up dinners or catch-up coffees or drinks, and to actually make the memories with them.
It's like, when is a catch-up and when is it a memory? Because isn't like going to a nice restaurant a memory in itself, or is that just a catch-up?
I think it's more like if you're only seeing these friends every so often, and like because you haven't seen them in so long, you just spend the whole time talking about what you've been doing the past few months, and it's basically gets to a point where like you're just going around each person like, what did you do for the past month? And it's like you're just doing
you feel
that.
Like you're giving a report about your life.
Yeah, and then Grace Beverly in her TikTok was saying like she feels like to many people she's a catch-up friend because she's very bad at making proper plans and she only has time to see friends every so often. So she feels like whether or not her whole friendship group is like that, but she personally feels like she is everyone's catch-up friend. Like she doesn't actually make memories with any of her friends anymore, which is kind of sad.
Yeah,
and obviously because she works a lot.
I think part of it is like getting older.
And
sadly,
it's kind of turned into this like discourse on TikTok of like, is that just normal or should we be doing something to change it? Because a lot of people in the comments were like, yeah, when you become older and might get married, generally your partner is the person that you kind of are doing these things with, or like if you go on to have kids or whatever. But then again, it's like, well, no, we should be, making memories with friends. And like, I would like to think that, when I get older, I'm not just always doing stuff with the person I might end up with, and I feel like that can be the reason for a lot of people. Like if you have a long-term partner, you are more like bound to do stuff with them rather than friends.
I think part of the issue is like when you have a full-time job and
if you move away from your friends, like if they're not living near you, it's much harder to make memories with them.
And I feel like with me, like I usually meet up with my friends like after work for dinner or something, and I'm less likely to meet up with them at the weekend. But maybe if I did meet up with them more at the weekend and we had like more hours to spend with them, then it would feel more like making memories rather than, I don't know, I think it's about the amount of hours that you have, because if you're just doing a catch up, it's like then you just all you're doing is catching up, and then
because you want to know what they've done, so like you spend most of the time talking about it, and then you don't have time to like do actual memories. But yeah, the main thing on TikTok was they were saying like your friends just hear the story of your life, they're not in the story anymore, like they're not the characters anymore in your story, they're just like hearing about all the characters in your life. Because I would say like, oh, maybe I'm just too busy to be like making these memories, but then it's like, well, no, I'm doing stuff, like I have things to tell them about, so it's like, well, why weren't they involved in the stories? So it can be kind of a bit like sad to think like, oh, I'm not spending as much time with my friends as I should be. But like you say, everyone has full-time jobs, or
I think
almost everyone has full-time jobs.
When you transition from like uni or school and then into like a life where you have friends, maybe a partner that you live with, like that is just a very big transition. I feel like, I don't know how old Grace Beverly is, but I feel like,
I think she's like in between our ages.
I feel like maybe that is just like her going through that transition and sort of, but I think there's definitely a way to, you can still catch up with your friends while making memories.
A memory,
like
yeah.
you just have to plan fun things, basically.
Yeah,
like
I
do
feel
things
like
that
that
you
is
enjoy.
true. Like when I saw this TikTok, I then one of my friends messaged me, and he wanted to like go get his haircut in this town like far away, and me and my friends like went on like kind of like a road trip to this like random town that we'd never been to before, and like spent the whole day there. And on that day I remember thinking like, wow, this is a memory. I was like, wow, my life is a movie. Not really, but you know, I thought in that moment like, oh yeah, this is nice because we're actually like we're experiencing
other people about.
Yeah, we're like experiencing something altogether that's new, rather than just sat at dinner like telling each other what we've been up to. So that was fun. I feel like I do want to plan more stuff like that, but like you say, like it's just hard. And also like most things that are like memories that cost money, and like sometimes it's just cheaper to like go for a coffee with your friends, but then it's like, okay, well maybe we should have gone on a walk somewhere fun to like have a memory of going somewhere.
Are expensive.
Yeah,
coffee is expensive.
Yeah.
So actually like going on a walk or just wandering around a random place is probably cheaper.
Yeah, I feel like it's tricky, and like but then some people were like, you are only a catch-up friend because you don't make plans apart from like it is also our responsibility to make plans with people that aren't just like catching up.
Yeah, this is something that I've been thinking quite a lot about, because when I moved from Australia to the UK, like before I left, I was making sure I was hanging out with all my friends to like see them as much as possible. So I was becoming the person that was like organizing things a lot more than maybe I would have if I didn't feel that time pressure of like you were leaving soon. And then now, since I've been back, obviously I want to like reconnect with those old friends a lot more, and like so I've been trying to like organize things a bit. To be honest, I've kind of fallen off a bit with that lately, but when I first moved back, I was like on it. I was like, right, we need to meet up, we need to do this. So I could still be better with that, but I think you do. I think if you're worrying about this and you feel like you've become that person and you don't want to be that person, just take the matters into your own hands and like think of people, ideas. Like I don't know, just like there are so many random ideas that you can do. It doesn't even have to be like some grand plan that's like really complicated. It could just be like, I'll come around your house and we'll go somewhere random. Like
paint each other's faces, like paint a mug. Like when you draw the other person.
Like bring your art supplies. Like, I've been doing that with some new friends I've made lately. Is like just go hang out in the
to
park
a new workout class together, or go even just like shopping or like things like that, rather than just a dinner. But then I do think it's okay if that you have some friends that might not be really close friends and you do only see them to catch up. Like there's a lot of friends I have that aren't like my best friends, but I do really love them and I wish I could see them more, but because they might live far away or they have a really busy schedule, I can't see them more. And I still appreciate, even if it's just once a year, seeing them for a catch up. Like I'd rather do that than nothing.
I feel like this whole thing could end up causing a lot of anxiety with people.
Yeah, like I'm now thinking like
I'm just going for a catch up.
Yeah, like which do some people see me as a catch up friend, or like am I not fun enough to be in the stories? Like
I feel like it's all of it. It could
we're just thinking too much
in overthinking and maybe a bit of anxiety that doesn't need to be there, because any hanging out with your friends is great. No matter what you're doing, it's always better than nothing.
It really just depends on like your friendship dynamic, because some people, they might be constantly texting their friends, so then they've done the catching up on text already or on FaceTime or on a phone call. So then when they actually see them in person, they're doing it like for a plan.
They know all of the things that have happened.
But then some people like aren't texters and you literally won't hear from them until you see them in person, so of course you want to know what they've been up to. So it can be hard to like find that balance. And sometimes I think it's kind of funny with me, because obviously I post my whole life online, so sometimes my friends kind of think they know what I've been up to, but then obviously I don't post every part of my life, so it can be a kind of weird dynamic of like they kind of don't need to ask me what I've been up to because they've seen, or like I go to tell a story and they're like, yeah, we saw, like we know what you're about to say, like so it can be like a funny dynamic with my friends. But I think I just need to remind them that like I'm not sharing every single part of my life.
There's always more things to say.
Like I don't really share my family or my boyfriend because they don't like being posted online. So like there's lots of things that might have happened in that kind of area of my life that they don't know about. So I think just I think it's just a weird hard balance, and if you're really busy, you might just have to be a catch-up friend for a few years until you have more time to like be doing stuff. But I think just trying to find like maybe a more like work-life balance if you can. But working is so exhausting, and like you might not want to be going to do fun things every single day after work. But maybe like if you are in a rut of like only seeing friends for dinner or for drinks, maybe go to like the cinema with them. Even that I feel like is more of a memory, like, oh yeah, I saw that film with so and so. Or like go, if you're living in a city that has lots of fun things, like go to a museum that's free, doesn't cost anything, or just go on a walk. Like you might have a funny story of like when you got lost on a walk, like something like that is, you know, something to do with your friends that isn't just meeting up for a catch up.
So when it comes to like the flaky friend side of things, I feel like I was the flaky friend the other day because we were supposed to film this podcast flaky. And I wasn't feeling very well, and at the last minute I was like, I can't record right now.
I feel like since COVID there has been much more of a thing of like, I think at first it was like very good. People were much more aware of like their own boundaries, and like people were much more happier saying no to plans and like being honest with their friends. But then I'm kind of thinking like, I think it slightly has turned, at least some things I see online, where people think that they can just kind of cancel on their friends whenever with no reason, because like, you know, protecting their own peace or whatever. But then it's sometimes like it's not it's not a nice thing to do to your friends if you're cancelling very last minute.
There's definitely a line between like protecting your peace, or there's that
rude.
Trend that goes around that's like, I think even I've posted a video of it before. It's like saying that you're busy but actually you're just doing this and it's like something at home that's like for yourself.
I think when it comes to me, I'm very much like a planner, and I am like the type, is it type A that's like the planner? I'm very much like, I like to have things in a schedule, and like if I've made plans with a friend, say they're coming around my house, like I would have been planning this for however long we've had it in the diary. If it's like a month, I would have been, you know, thinking, what are we going to have for dinner? Oh, I've got to get my food shop. Maybe I'll do an online delivery specifically with stuff I know they like. I've tidied the whole house. I've like mowed the grass outside. I've washed my hair if we're going somewhere nice. Like, you know, I know that most of that is like my choice, and I don't have to do that just because a friend's coming, but that's just the sort of person I am. So it does annoy me when I've done all that and a friend cancels like right before. But then it's hard because obviously if this is an emergency in the family or something, like that's very fair enough, and like that happens, and you've got to forgive you know, it's not something that you should really be annoyed about. But I do think like there are some people I know that like very much are just like protecting my peace, or like they're reposting something like when you cancel the plans and you're so happy to just sit in bed, and it's like there's a balance of like, but also you need to like respect your friends' time and energy, and like maybe money that they put into like making dinner for you all, or like something like that. And if you have like proper plans that have been in the calendar for so long, I think when it comes to like, if you are someone that might suffer with anxiety or an illness and you know you're not going to be up for it, I think just telling the person as soon, like, don't just, if you don't want to do it, just say, I'm not coming. Like, I'd rather you say you're not coming to the plan a month before than only tell me 5 minutes before. Like, I think just being honest with your friends, and like, say if the start of that week you're thinking, oh my god, my diary's so full, how am I've got something on every single day. On Sunday I'm going to be too tired to meet with my friends. Just tell them on the Monday, because then they've got the whole week, they can reschedule their plans, rather than cancelling like an hour before, and then your friend might have spent all week preparing for you to come, or like preparing for these plans. Like, and I know some of that is like, just, you don't have to always be planning for your friends, but I feel like for me personally, like, say we're going out for drinks, I've spent all week thinking of my outfit, I might have spent money on something to wear, I've scheduled my hair washing, I've said, oh no, I won't do an exercise class that day because I want to sleep in my heatless curls the night before. Like, there are so many things, and I think some people just aren't that considerate of like all those little things that people are like fitting around plans.
I do also think if you, as the flaky person, if you are really that happy to not be going, maybe think about whether this friendship is worth it. Like you should feel, if you cancel it, I completely understand, because this literally happened to me the other day. I was not feeling well, so I had to cancel, but I felt bad about that because I wanted to do the podcast and I wanted to hang out with you, but I just wasn't feeling well. But if you're 100% just feeling amazing at the fact that you've cancelled your plan.
Yeah, if you're really happy with yourself, it's like, well, if you're so happy and like relieved that you don't have to see this person, then you shouldn't have made the plans in the first place. So maybe you should not be friends with them. And I think if the idea of hanging out with your friends is making you feel really anxious, yeah, maybe there's a reason for that, and you shouldn't be hanging out with them.
And obviously, social anxiety is a real thing. So
yeah,
there's a lot of...
I totally get it. Like, I'm so scared to do so many things.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I think the type of person I am personally, if I say I'm gonna be somewhere, I will be there, even if. Obviously, if there's an emergency or something like that, I can't. But, like, even if I have a tiny bit of an illness or I'm feeling tired, I think I generally will just go. And I think that's just because I always like to stick to my word and, like, say if I've said I'm doing something, I'll do it. So then I think because I'm so like that, it makes me kind of annoyed sometimes if my friends are, like, the opposite.
And if you find that you have just got too much in the diary and it's so overwhelming, maybe, like, just... as you're adding more events to the diary, maybe like spread them out a little bit further. Like some of my friends, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna see you like in this month. It's not like I'm gonna see, like, I don't know, it makes it easier because then you can spread it out a bit and you can have more gaps in between. Like if you are kind of an introvert, like I'm an introvert, like I need time to like not be with people sometimes. And I do notice that when I've been to like so many events in a row, I'm so wiped out. But just trying to like spread it out a bit more.
Yeah, and I think like if you do have to cancel because you're not feeling well or if you're feeling anxious, try and like, if these are people you want to be hanging out with and they are your actual friends, just try and rearrange plans or offer like an alternative. Say, okay, I'm really sorry I'm feeling sick, let's FaceTime instead.
Or like just change the plan slightly, like maybe you were supposed to be going for dinner, but maybe you could just go around their house or something.
Have a takeaway,
a bit cozier or nicer.
And I always think like it's nice to offer an alternative, like, or even just say, I'm so sorry I couldn't make the catch up, I'll send you all a voice note in the group chat of what I've been up to, so I don't, or like you guys still meet up and FaceTime me. Or like there are like websites I think where you can like all press play on Netflix at the same time, like just be like, we could all watch the movie we're planning, but let's do it from home instead. Like I think those things and like being mindful and like still offering an alternative is like a nice thing to do, and it proves that you actually care about those people and like you've got, you know, a proper friend if they're like, you know, making alternatives, because sometimes you don't want to leave your house and you might be feeling ill, but it is also nice to, you know, be mindful that these people might also, your friends might have been looking forward to it all week and they haven't spoken to anyone all week, and it's nice to like offer an alternative that they can still have that like friendship time.
Do you feel like since COVID it's gotten worse? Like I feel like it's gotten a bit weirder because we were all inside for so many years and then suddenly we're all out again, and it's almost like I think people have forgotten like how to kind of have like normal social interaction,
like friendships. Yeah, I think it is hard, and I think so many people have now developed like social anxiety because they got so used to not seeing anyone that now it's kind of, you go to somewhere where it's so busy and your whole like nervous system is overwhelmed, and I think that is a thing that so many people are struggling with and maybe don't even realize that it's actually like a thing that you might need to get help for, and you might want to go to the doctor, and like there are lots of things that can help with anxiety, whether it's like therapy or like medication,
like beta blockers.
Yeah, like there are things you can do to help you feel better in those situations. But yeah, I think since COVID it has been like a shift of like, I don't want to say people being more selfish, because obviously like if you are suffering with anxiety or illnesses, I'm not talking about that. I more just mean people that are happy to just
like, I don't care, I'm just gonna cancel,
or cancelling friends to spend time with their boyfriends. That is something that would always annoy me.
Yeah,
I feel like that would happen maybe more in school, like when people get in their first relationships, it can be so exciting for them, and like they're not used to how to like handle the dynamic, and it would so annoy me when people would like make plans with friends and then their boyfriend asked them if they're free and they would just cancel the friend straight away for the boyfriend, and it can be really hard. I feel like what I used to say was like, whoever you made the plans with first was the person you should stick with, but then sometimes I can't go with that, because sometimes to me, if I'm like, in terms of like work stuff, say I've like said to you I'm filming the podcast, but then I get invited to like a premiere for this movie I really want to see.
Some things are just obvious.
Well, then it's like
it doesn't matter, does it?
Even though I made the plan with you first, I'm just going to explain, and you would be fine with me cancelling.
That I feel like there are like like plans that are more flexible. Like if you live nearby someone and if you're just meeting up for something that you do regularly, I feel like that's less, like you can be more flexible with that.
Yeah.
But if you live like 2 hours away from someone and they've had to like book a train, obviously that's different. So I think it just depends.
And I think it's more annoying when like your friend doesn't think about that sort of thing. Like I've had it before where friends, like we're meant to be going to London together and I booked my train and like, okay, my train's not the most expensive in the world, but it does cost money. And like, if I've already paid for that and then you cancel while I'm already on my way, it's like, okay, well now I'm on the train to London and like, I'm not just going to meet no one. And that can be a lot more frustrating when it's like, okay, now I've wasted like time and money and like I've spent all morning getting ready, I've planned my outfit, this and this, and then you cancel. So I think it can be hard, but I think what I've definitely learned is just I now know what friends are more likely to cancel, and maybe I've stopped kind of inviting them to plans like that, and maybe I'm just making different kind of plans with them. Like I still like to see them, but it can be more like something that's not as much effort and energy that I need to put in. And I think just kind of working out like what kind of vibe your friends are and like who's more reliable and who's less reliable.
Yeah, and maybe just having like an honest conversation with them. Like if they genuinely keep cancelling and you don't know why, maybe be like, just point it out. Be like, are you okay? Like I've noticed that you are cancelling a lot. Like, are you okay? Like, do you want to maybe change our plans that we do or like adjust something? I don't know. Like, I just think sometimes a lot of things can just be miscommunicated, especially if you live long distance and you're only talking over text.
Yeah.
So much of things just like gets lost in translation. So I think voice notes are kind of good because you don't have to have a full-on phone call, but you can still kind of hear the tone of their voice a bit more, and like you just get a lot more information across that way, I think.
Yeah, I think for me it's the main thing I would say in terms of any of this flaky friend thing is just I just wish people wouldn't accept the plan if you're not going to do the plan. So I think when you're like making plans with a friend, if they've invited you to a party and you're like, I really don't think I would enjoy that and I think I'm going to be really anxious and I'm busy the day before and the day after, just be honest. If it's your friend, they should understand. Just lay that all out to them and say, look, I really want to come, but I'm not sure, I might. And then at least you've told them like a week or 2 weeks before that you might not come. So you've kind of like told them, you know, how you're feeling about it. And then if you do need to cancel, it won't be such like a letdown for your friend. I think that can be really helpful to like just be honest, and just if you are feeling anxious, you don't need to make up an excuse that you're ill, because I feel like it's much worse to make up an excuse.
Yeah, you never really want to lie,
because if someone lies,
will kind of get like understand that it's a lie eventually.
Yeah, and like sometimes someone will lie and then I'll see them posting on Instagram that they're with their boyfriend for dinner. I'm like, oh, so you weren't ill.
And if it's a lie about being ill, just say what the real thing is, like whatever it is, whether it's just it's too expensive to travel, I'm too tired, like honestly, like I think I would rather someone just be honest about it.
Yeah, same, because there's so many reasons someone might want to cancel, but I think just being honest as early as you can before the plans happen, especially if it's like a one-on-one thing where it won't happen now because you're not going. I think just trying to be like as honest as possible so that that person can like rearrange or like find another friend to do it with. Okay, now we're going to look at some questions about friendships that we got from you guys. As always, make sure you're following the Instagram at mybigsisterpodcast if you want to send in dilemmas, and we also have an email address, mybigsisterpodcast@gmail.com, if you want to send in any longer ones. But yeah, let's have a look at what you guys asked about friendships. Someone said, tips for friendship breakups after a friend has been really mean to you but doesn't think they've done anything wrong. This is hard, and I feel like
I'm probably not a good person to answer this because
why?
Because I have ghosted friends before.
Have you?
Yeah.
What do you think is like a reasonable situation to ghost someone in?
Finding out that your friend has very different values to you or believes something that you really don't agree with. I feel like that.
If it's something that's like so inexcusable that like you could never see being friends with them again, I understand. Like, and if it's also like if they've done something so hurtful to you that you don't want them to be able to like manipulate your thoughts or like, you know, worm their way back into your life, it's sometimes is easier just to like block someone and move on. But I do think like if you have been friends for a long time, like, you know, if there has been a chance of a misunderstanding or something, it might be a good chance to like actually try and just talk things through before you block for no reason, or at least send a final message to be like,
To be fair, when I did this, I was quite young, so I feel like I would never do that today.
Yeah, I think, well, if something like really major happened in a friendship, I think I would maybe send a final message and then block if I was going to block someone. I don't think, none of my friends I have now, I don't think I'd be in that situation. But like, yeah, if I'd find out my friend cheated on some like major thing, I think you would send a message and try and explain and before you block someone, because I think blocking someone with no explanation is a bit like,
it is
awkward.
bad,
and like I always think like I want to be the kind one in the situation, like I kind of want to like be the one who's in the right, so like I want to try and resolve things if I can. In terms of this question, which was tips for friendship breakups after your friend doesn't think they've done anything wrong, I think that can be so hard, but I would just say like don't beg for someone to be friends with you. Like if you're in that situation where someone's being horrible to you or they don't want to talk to you, you shouldn't have to beg for someone to be your friend. And like there are so many more people out there, and if you are at school, once you leave school, like there's a world full of people, and you don't need to beg to be in a friend group with people that aren't being nice to you. And if it is a friendship that you think might be worth saving, just try and explain to them what happened and why it made you upset. And it might be that the thing they did wasn't necessarily bad, but it made you feel a certain way, and explaining like how it felt from your side of the situation can probably help, because it might just be like a one-off comment that to them is normal, or something that in their family they do that all the time, but if it's done to you, you might have been really affected by it. So I think just explaining to your friends like why you're so upset, and if they are still not accepting,
and if after that they're not a friend you want to have, your friends shouldn't make you feel like in the same way as like a dodgy situationship, that feeling of like, oh, I really want your attention. Like a friend should never make you, well, no one should ever make you feel that way, but especially not friends. Like that's just crazy. So yeah.
Someone said how to leave a group of friends when they didn't do anything necessarily bad to you. They just never include you in any of their activities.
That is bad.
Yeah. I feel like in school, this is a big thing. I don't know. I feel like this was a thing in school because when people would go around other people's houses, it would be like, my mum only has 4 seats in her car. And then it's like awkward because it's like, and sometimes it would happen where like, my mum would be like, you can only have 3 friends around, and then it's like so awkward.
Actually, that's so true. Like the number of seats in the car has a big effect on
it does.
Friendships.
Honestly, it does. Like before you learn to drive and you all have your own cars, it is. If one of your friends lives far away, it's like, what are you gonna do? Pay for an Uber at like 12 years old? No. So it can like. So I feel like some situations you have to be like, okay, maybe this was just. Their parents didn't let them have me around, like, or something. But if it's happening every single time, and every single time you are the one that's being left out of the group, then that's not okay, and that's not a nice thing to be happening. And I feel like the worst thing is like in school when you wouldn't know your friends were meeting up, and then you'd see on social media like them all out.
It's like The Best Day by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and like I feel like there's an episode of like Outnumbered where she goes shopping with her mum, and then all her friends are like out shopping and she sees them.
Yeah, it's kind of like a classic childhood experience.
Yeah,
but a really sad one.
I know, but I think as friends, like you should be able to be honest. Like if that is the reason, literally, like your mum doesn't have enough seats in the car, your friends should just tell you that, and like it shouldn't be a secret that they're meeting up. Like I feel like. But then sometimes it's like, if they're talking on the group chat about this party but they haven't invited you, is that worse? Like, is it worse to know, like, your friends openly talking about something that you're not invited to? But then I think I'd rather know than it be a secret and then find out later.
I feel like either way it's kind of
not
bad.
good, yeah.
Like, unless they've got a genuine reason, like maybe they're doing something with a friend that you don't know or something. But then even then it's a bit awkward.
Even then I feel like there should always be an invite. Like if you're like a friend group and you're all friends and you're all doing something, it should be like you should be invited. And they might say, oh, I'm not sure if you get on with these, but you can like, but then it's awkward when people are like, you won't like it, but you can come if you really want to. It's like, that's kind of worse.
I feel like any of these scenarios is not good.
No, but I feel like in school there's just the inevitable like awkwardness and being left out and things like that. But I would like to say it doesn't happen as much in adult friendships. No. I feel like when you're in school, because your main thing in your life is your friends, and it's the same that we've been saying earlier about the catch up thing. Like in school, your whole life is your friends, and probably before you have like a proper boyfriend or girlfriend, like your main thing is your friends. So if you feel left out by them, it's like the biggest betrayal and like so like heartbreaking. Whereas I feel like in adult friendships, you know that everyone's lives are so busy, and that if two people in a group met up on their own, it's not really, like, you can't really get that mad about it. Like, obviously, if there's a situation where, like, your whole friend group is invited to someone's wedding and you're not, and there's no clear reason why, that can be upsetting. But I feel like generally when it comes to, like, catching up with friends, you know, in adult life, I feel like you can't be that mad if people are meeting up, like, not inviting the whole group.
Like, it's totally fine. Like, adults obviously are allowed to do whatever they want, but if you're doing something that's hurting someone's feelings,
and if it's intentional, like, I feel like that's worse. Like, if you're in a friendship group in school and they're purposely not inviting you to upset you, that's a whole different thing.
School is very different situation. Like, a lot of the time people are just being cruel because they're young and they don't know, like, they don't know how to be a nice person, to be honest. Like, a lot of kids are really mean, probably because they've got weird stuff going on in their life that they don't want to tell you about. And, like, I don't know, there's just so many situations, but when you're in that moment as the kid at school who's being excluded, it feels horrible.
Yeah. And I would say, like, if you're in school and that's happening, just, if these people aren't nice people, try and find a different friend group. Like, even if you feel like, oh, these are the cool kids and I want to help them, actually the cool people in school probably aren't the nicest, and trying to find other people in school that might actually get on with you a lot better and have, like, similar interests to you, you're going to have a much better time than, like, just being in the popular group or, like, trying to, like, fit in with them just because you think that's, like, the right thing to do. Someone said, this is kind of like the whole episode topic, how do you handle conflicts with friends or family? I think this can be so hard, and I feel like it's so different in school compared to, like, being an adult, because I feel like I'd like to think that in adult life you're more kind of upfront with things, but then I don't know, because in school some people would have full-on fights over stuff, like physical fights.
Most
and, like,
aren't doing that.
Yeah, whereas I feel like when you're an adult, like, you might just not text someone a lot, and that's kind of your way of saying that you don't want to be friends with them anymore. But then some people just aren't good at texting, so it's like, it's hard to tell. Like,
I don't know, I think it just depends on the situation. Like,
I think in, like, as an adult, if you have a conflict with someone because of something that's happened, I think just trying to communicate and being open with someone. I think trying to do it in person always helps, or, like, on a phone call rather than, like, texting back and forth, because, like you said, like, you can't really understand people's, like, tone of voice on text, so it can be a bit awkward. And, like, trying not to, like, get loads of people involved, trying to just, like, sort something out with that person.
I think I found, like, whenever I've had conflict with a friend, the worst thing you can do is send, like, loads of big chunky paragraphs backwards and
don't
forwards.
text when you're angry,
especially when you're angry, and, like, just the act of texting, I feel like, is the worst medium to communicate, because you think you're communicating but you're actually not, because they're then gonna, like, read back everything you've read and read into it and be like,
and read it 20 times,
and that's just not a natural way of communicating. Like, we humans aren't designed to do that. That's just, I guess we write letters to each other, but it's not quite the same. Like, sending an angry text message backwards and forwards is, like, it's just not gonna end well. Like I said before, like, voice notes can be good, but ultimately, like, meeting up in person and talking is probably the best way. Like, if you have any sort of relationship with this person, then just trying to understand their side of things, like, you will hopefully get some sort of resolution if you can just, like, almost, like, not see each other as, like, the antagonist. And, like, if you think that they're out to get you, then they will be out to get you, you know? Like, you have to have some faith that they kind of are on your side a little bit.
I think one quote, I think I've said this on the podcast before, that really, like, kind of helped me when it came to, like, friends that might come in and out your life, or, like, people that you might have been close with once and now you're not anymore, is your friends are either friends for a reason, friends for a season, or friends for life. Which means, like, so your friends for a reason might be your friends that you're friends with in school because you were sat next to each other in form. Like, that is why you were friends. And maybe you're not close anymore because you were just friends for that reason. And it might be the same with uni. Like, the people that you live with at uni, you were friends with them at that time because there was that reason. Friends for a season is, like, people that might come into your life for, like, 6 months and you get really close, but then it just kind of fades out, and, like, that's okay. And that might just be a reason why they were just in for a few months or a few years and now you're not as close anymore. And then friends for life are people that have been in your life for a long time, and like you know that you probably will be friends forever. And I think it's nice to kind of accept that you don't have to be best friends with every single friend forever constantly. But yeah, I think it's a good way to think of friendships, of like, it's not necessarily bad that you aren't as close with these people anymore. It might just be that they were just friends for a reason or a season, or you might be friends for life. I think it's nice to think of things like that. Also, another quote that I love a quote on this podcast.
Just quoting quotes.
I just quote everything on this podcast. Is this one is kind of interesting. I feel like I kind of agree, I kind of don't. Is real friends don't keep receipts. So it's that
comes back to what I was saying about the text message thing, though. It's like a real friend wouldn't like read into a text message argument and like
I mean, it doesn't mean like actual receipts. I think it more just means like a real friend doesn't think, oh, she cancelled on me 5 years ago. Oh, it still annoys me. Yeah, like, or even my friend was a bit mean to me one day because they were stressed and angry, and we got in a bit of an argument. If you're like true friends, you don't keep hold of all those things to use against them in the future. Like,
I think that's good advice for like relationships as well, like long-term relationships.
Yeah, like obviously though, I don't fully agree, because like there are some things where like if your friend has done something awful to you, you shouldn't just forget it.
Or if your boyfriend has cheated on you,
you should keep the receipts if you have physical receipts of that. But I feel like I do agree in somehow of like, if you literally held on to every little conflict or every little funny text, or your friend cancelled on you 10 years ago, like if you seriously kept hold of every single of those things and were annoyed about it your whole life, you would never be able to keep a friend, because like your
humans
friends
are flawed.
Your friends aren't going to be perfect friends to you all the time.
We're all struggling, like none of us are perfect.
Yeah, and like even a friend that might cancel on you so many times, there's probably something going on in their life, and yes, you might be annoyed for a while and you might not see them for a few years, but then afterwards you might kind of realize what was going on in their life in that period and forgive them. And like I think it is a good quote to kind of always remember, like especially with those people that are like your best friends that you have been friends with for years and years. It's like, okay, yes, that was annoying, yes, I'm frustrated, yes, I might talk about it for a week and be like, oh, my friend cancelled it, how annoying is this, or blah blah blah, but then after a few months it's like you shouldn't be still going on about it and thinking about it. If it's like someone that you want to stay friends with, then you shouldn't be like holding all these grudges against people. Someone said, I've had a baby and I feel like none of my friends bother with me anymore. Aww. That is really sad. And I feel like I do see like TikToks about this, and like this I think does happen to a lot of people. I feel like especially maybe if you're like a young mum.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're like one of the first people in the friendship group that happes, like that you have a kid, that and all your friends really are like
in their like partying era.
So yeah, it just depends what age you are as well, but like because it is a completely different life. I mean, I'm talking like I know about it, but I don't.
Neither of us have kids.
A lot of my friends have kids now, and I have seen them like transform like their whole lives. Like it completely transforms every part of your life. So I can kind of understand why some friends might be a bit confused, because if they've never experienced that before, it is very like
you are changing as a person.
But if they're like a good enough friend, they should want to stick around, and they should want to get to know your kid.
And they should know how like hard it is having a kid. Like that is one of the most tricky things you would ever do. So you would hope that your friends would be around to like support you and give you some like tolerance of like if you're too busy to meet up or too tired, like they should be wanting to like, oh, I'll come visit you at your house instead, or like I'll come clean your house for you while you're tired with the baby. Like hopefully you would think your friends would be like that. But I can understand like if you're young, say you're like 16 or like 18 and all your friends are like going clubbing every weekend, it would be really hard.
That is very difficult.
But if they are good enough friends, they should be able to support you and help you out. But I do understand that like people who are young, they make mistakes, and like they might just be in their party era and like not really thinking about you as like I feel like there are some people I know that would be like, oh, so and so's boring now because she has a kid, which is obviously horrible, and you don't want to be friends with those people anyway. But I think it can be like such a lifestyle change that
it is
if
really
you're
tricky.
Just used to your friends, if you like only hang out with your friends when you go partying or drinking,
like, get drunk,
and then
can't do that anymore.
You can't do that while you're pregnant at all. So for at least 9 months, you're not drinking. Like
even if they're like if they've got a kid with them, they're not going to be getting
like, going
really,
clubbing,
really drunk or going clubbing or anything. So
I think it can be really hard. I mean, I think when you are a mum, you hopefully will make new friends in the form of like going to like baby groups, or like when your kids start school, hopefully you can make friends with other mums, because
there's like a whole new opportunity of ways to make friends.
Yeah, because like you probably will relate more to the people who have kids your age, and that's not to say you should just forget all your old friends. Like if you can, try and, you know, still be as close with them, but I think trying to find people that can relate to your situation or in a similar situation to you can really help. And then if they also have a baby, like you can go to things together, or like your babies can have a little play date together, and like things like that I think could be helpful, because it can be so like isolating having a kid. Not that I have had a kid, but I can imagine it can be so like lonely, especially if you were like a single mom. Like I can't even imagine that. So I think trying to find people in a similar situation to you to hang out with, as well as trying to keep touch with your old friends.
And I think even just like kind of maybe trying to understand your friend's perspective who don't have kids, that it is very hard to kind of understand.
Well, and some people have never like interacted with a baby. Like I feel like I'm not that very good with like really young kids, because I know family members have young kids. Like I don't really know what to do if someone hands me a baby. Like it can be awkward. So I think trying to be like, come over, like meet my baby, like almost, you know, like kind of explain
the process.
And like maybe take them to a baby group with you, or like help them to kind of understand like why your life is so taken over by baby stuff. Like how invite them for a sleepover and show them like how much effort it is to be like keeping that baby alive. Like honestly, I feel like it would take over your life, so it could be quite hard to understand for some people. And yeah, I think it is like a big thing with age, of like if you are the first one in your friend group to have kids, it can be so different. Do you feel like most of your people you're friends with have kids now? And do you think you feel like the cool crazy one, or like how does it make you feel that your friends, like a lot of them have kids?
It's a bit different. So my husband is like a bit like 5 years older than me, so a lot of his friendship group, or most of his friendship group now have kids, whereas with my friendship group, like two of them have kids or are about to have kids. So there's like, you know, there's a few out of my friends, but not like loads. I'd say the majority still haven't. So I'm kind of experiencing like two different sides of things. Like in one group, I'm actually the more advanced, like because I'm married. Well, for a while I was like the only one that was married. Now a few of the others have gotten married as well, so now we're all like in the married gang. But like then in the other group, they've all had babies and we're like behind because we haven't had kids yet. So it's kind of weird experiencing both of those things. So I think because of that, I don't feel like one way or the other. I'm not like the crazy party one. Like I'm kind of just in the middle.
It's like, what Taylor Swift song is it where she's like, is it Torture Poet?
It's like all my friends smell like weed, or little babies.
Little babies. Yeah. What is that?
It's
Florida.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
Like you're either partying or you smell like babies.
I am basically in that.
You're in the middle. You don't know which way to turn. Yeah, I feel like it's hard. I feel like I'm at an age where like no one's having kids at all. Like I feel like I'm quite like seen as like old and boring to my friends, because I've been in a relationship for quite a few years, and like all of my friends
live in a share house
all of my friends are like in their like single era, and a lot of them live with friends, so that I feel like a bit like, oh, I'm old and boring because I just live with my boyfriend of like so many years. And I think that is funny, and like it's interesting to see like how people's lives turn out. I always say like, even if your friend is married now, they might be divorced in 10 years. Like you never know, and you can't like compare your life to other people's timelines.
Has, their own situation, and like everyone's just doing things differently. So
you can't like look at someone and be like, oh, they're the same age as me, I should be doing that too, or like you can't like use that as sort of any benchmark. And if your friends are not hanging out with you since you've had a baby, then you need to find new friends or try and explain to them the situation. Okay, I think that's all the questions we have time for. I'm getting a bit tired. I need to go and have dinner. We're filming this in the afternoon. It's very warm in
here again.
Yes, it gets very warm in this room. Even if it's not that hot outside, this room we film in gets very hot, I've learned, because it's now summer in England and it's getting a bit hot. But I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Hope you're having a good week. Make sure you're following the Instagram at mybigsisterpodcast if you do want to get involved and ask any questions, and make sure you email your dilemmas to mybigsisterpodcast@gmail.com. My socials are all at Grace Tutty. Josie's are
Josie Violet, Josie V Tutty.
I was going to try and remember it then, but I don't think I can.
Something like that.
You're Josie V Tutty on Instagram and Josie Violet on TikTok. I think that's right.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hope you all really enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week for another episode. Bye. Guys.